Hi, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights Consulting, and this is the European model, a little bit of a close-up here. A couple things I want to call your attention to. Of course, here's the state of Vermont. We have the 32-degree isotherm. This is down at the surface, the darker blue line, not to be confused with this lighter blue 0 degree Celsius isotherm at 850 millibars. And this is aloft at about the top of Mount Mansfield, about 4,200 feet or so. This is right at the surface. So temperatures in this case here would be below freezing. It would be above freezing here with the 32 isotherm a little bit to the north. This is the precipitation area, and we'll be watching these precipitation amounts as we jump in 6-hour increments. Starting with, we'll go back here, and this is what's going to happen basically early Friday morning. We're going to see a little bit of lighter precipitation. Notice that this is not a big deal. This is a hundredth of an inch to about a tenth of an inch that's beginning to move in. And it starts, looks like around daybreak or so, moving in across northern Vermont as a little bit of snow. No harm, no foul there. However, we get into the middle part of the day. This would be 18Z, 1 o'clock or so. We have the 0 degree isotherm representing snow to the north, rain to the south. A little bit of mixture of freezing rain, potentially some rain here, spotty light rain showers in the afternoon. And that's going to have a tendency to want to work itself to the north a little bit. Coming back to 18Z, here's the 0Z. This would be the 7 p.m. Friday evening forecast. Again, precipitation just beginning to pick up just a little bit. And then we get into on Friday night. You can see these numbers bounce around just a little bit, making it a very complex forecast. And computer modeling generally is really not that good to know exactly where it's going to be. It kind of gives you an understanding as to where it should be. But as I run these numbers, you can see what's moving in terms of the amount of quantitative precipitation. That is, the amount of precipitation is going to be definitely on the increase. You're talking on the order of greater than 1/2 inch, falling in a 6-hour period. That's 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And you can see what our problem is here as this heavier amount of precipitation works into the region. Again, now this is valid at about 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, and you can see hour 66 here, what's moving in and why there's such a problem with icing and potential. Now these numbers have jumped around just a little bit. I'm seeing a little bit more warmer temperatures to the west of the Green Mountains, a little bit less to the east of the Green Mountains, so there's some cold air damming involved here. So what is going on here right now is we have the 0 degree isotherm that's up here in the just a little bit north of the international border. Incidentally, it does look like Montreal is going to be right on the fringe of some icing here. It's mostly to the south of them, but along the U.S.-Canadian border, especially the St. Lawrence River Valley, if you believe the European model, this particular run. Now, these are going to bounce around a little bit, so you can't use every little bit of these details. But needless to say, anything falling between the 32-degree isotherm here and this 0 degree isotherm aloft tells me it's basically going to be rain, and rain is not good. Obviously, it's going to be glazing across the Northeast Kingdom here. By the way, this is valid at 12Z Sunday, or about 7 o'clock Sunday morning. And this looks to be at the height, one of the heights of the major amount of precipitation, the heaviest part of this precipitation working in across the region. So what we have here is a little bit more of a shift of warmer air trying to work north, and then cold air damming and some influence of from the St. Lawrence River Valley, some cold air bleeding south, and it sets up this isotherm with this little kink in it. All of the whole time aloft, you got some fairly heavy precipitation working across the region. This is again valid at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. Okay, we're going to jump this again. Again, this is, let's go to 12Z on Sunday, which is probably the worst signature right now, as it looks right now for Sunday, for quite a bit of icing across the northern tier of Vermont and a little bit more toward the Northeast Kingdom. As we run this, however, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, look what's happened. The 32-degree isotherm has moved now a little bit north of the Canadian border, meaning this is basically all rain. So it's going to lessen the prolonged amount of ice that we're going to see, and that's good news. This doesn't look as quite catastrophic as it did a little bit earlier. At about 84 hours out, or about this would be 7 p.m. Sunday evening, the precipitation, the max amount of precipitation. You can see it exiting out of the region here. And our 32-degree isotherm is almost to the Canadian border across the Northeast Kingdom. The 0-degree isotherm, telling me that basically this is back into freezing rainland again, is still taking place over this particular area. So it doesn't look as much ice, but it still looks like we could see, again, in the general neighborhood, probably somewhere around a half inch. Some indications are that the worst is going to be across the St. Lawrence River Valley, where there might even be as much as 3/4 of an inch of ice, which is pretty catastrophic for that particular region. So by later in the day on Sunday, this is the way it's shaping up right now. We're looking at lighter precipitation beginning to exit out of the region, and it looks like a mix of precipitation types continuing until much colder air works in aloft. Now, this is valid time 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The 0-degree isotherm at 850 millibars, indicating that this is all cold enough now to snow. It's not quite cold enough at the surface, though. 32-degree isotherm is not caught up to this, so we'll start to see temperatures get colder and colder as we get into the day on Monday. But the main action, again, getting right back to this, and I'll just progressively move these models along. You can see what we're up against here. Right now, if I was to grade this as to be better or worse, I'd say maybe conditions are a little bit better, a little bit less catastrophic, but still very, very concerning, and still a real problem for utilities. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights Consulting. Thanks for watching.